Hey everyone, Derek here with a bit of a solo discussion as I wanted to talk a bit more about AlphaDream and basically what happened with their bankruptcy, because I do feel like it's worth talking about, and AlphaDream has been this stalwart part of Nintendo, even though they're not actually part of Nintendo, for a long time now, ever since the Game Boy Advance. And apologies for it just being me and me being on camera. Sorry, I know it's not the best, but unfortunately everybody else is kind of busy with their own things, be it real life or just other work. So scheduling was just kind of a mess. But either way, let's talk about AlphaDream and their unfortunate call for bankruptcy. Because they've been around for a long time, really ever since the Game Boy Color, and they're made up of X-Square members, and they just sort of became this part that people really enjoyed. They got a lot of emotion out of 2D images, especially in the Mario and Luigi series, which became their bread and butter. That's what they're known for. That's what they do. And if you look at their past catalog, they have a few smaller games that released on the Game Boy Color, Japanese exclusive. They had some Hamtaro games, if you remember that anime. But after that, it was all Mario and Luigi. And it's unfortunate because this is a series that started off so strongly. I loved it. I never really got into Paper Mario until I did a streaming series a few years ago where I played through all those games. But Mario and Luigi was always a series that I stuck with because it was so unique, so interesting, and I don't know, really fun. I have some very fond memories of Superstar Saga, and even in college playing Partners in Time. And I remember it not being quite as good as how much I enjoyed Partners in Time, but I still had a kick out of it. And of course, Bowser's Inside Story was brilliant, and even though a bit long in the tooth, I still enjoyed Dream Team. It was with Paper Jam that it seemed to start going in downhill a bit, because I never actually finished Paper Jam. It just didn't hook me that much, and it was coming right off the problem of Sticker Star, and there's just this low point for Mario RPGs that kind of got lifted up thanks to Color Splash, but is still kind of not the best. And I just... You understand why they're in this shape that they're in, because they released 2 more 3DS games, the Superstar Saga remake, which was fine. It updated it, maybe needed it, and it had an extra mode that was kind of neat, but honestly kind of boring and just didn't really hold my attention. And then, of course, we got the remake of Bowser's Inside Story, which was less impressive just because we could play Bowser's Inside Story on the 3DS thanks to the DS backwards capability. And, it added the same sort of extra mode that just didn't excite people. And the sales numbers, of course, reflected this. Bowser's Inside Story's remake on the 3DS just did not sell well. And it's an unfortunate low point, and it just sort of signaled the death of the 3DS. But nobody really thought that would be the end of AlphaDream. It's like, yeah, it's unfortunate, but Nintendo got them to do this project. They're trying to support the 3DS. But we don't actually know the full story about that, because the key thing to remember about AlphaDream is that they never developed a HD title before. They were always in the handheld space ever since the beginning. So there's a huge learning curve for them to go from the 3DS to the Switch, potentially. And I can imagine that being a major hurdle, and all of a sudden they have to learn this skill set that they just don't have. And maybe they could have done games like they did for the 3DS and just keep them at the same graphical quality, maybe just a little upped, and not go the full HD treatment. It's hard to say. I know a while ago they were actually looking for new people for an HD project. So it seems like that HD project just didn't go anywhere. We don't even know what it was, if it was another Mario and Luigi or a new project. We don't know. But for those wondering why they didn't put these ports of Mario and Luigi, Superstar Saga, and Bowser's Inside Story onto the Switch, that might be why. They would have needed other porting help. And I could see Nintendo being like, well, there's still a 3DS audience, so maybe we just stick with this, and it's fine if you don't go HD. It's all right. And yeah, it just seems like, unfortunately, they just weren't able to transition. And I don't know if this actually spells the end for AlphaDream with them declaring bankruptcy. Maybe Nintendo will step in, but again, maybe not, because unfortunately things have passed them by. And it sucks. It really does suck, because there's a lot of memories with Mario and Luigi. People wanted to see that series come back in a big way and could imagine the possibilities of those games on the Switch, because that's what people want. The 3DS, as wonderful a system as it is, just isn't relevant anymore. There's a reason people wanted it to die, because they wanted to see these projects on the Switch, where it was just much more exciting, be able to have it on the TV or on handheld if they so choose. And maybe they should have gone an eShop route, only route for AlphaDream, done something. Maybe they tried it. It's hard to say. We don't have the details. But one way or another, we're just unfortunately out of a development studio that has a lot of talent. And hopefully they'll get picked up, and brought into the fold of Nintendo or something to that effect. But, the thing to remember is AlphaDream is not owned by Nintendo. They are a third-party developer that just happened to have a close working relationship with Nintendo. So, that's why this studio is going bankrupt. Nintendo just doesn't have a thing, and of course they just didn't sell that well. There is some atrocious numbers for the Bowser's Inside Story remake, just everywhere. So I know I didn't pick it up, and that's my favorite game in the series. So when you're not picking up a remake of your favorite game in the series, it's not a great sign. So yeah, but I mean, that's really what it comes down to, is that we have this wonderful developer, didn't work out, and unfortunately because of that, we're out of luck. So yeah, it's a bit of a crappy situation, but I'm actually really curious what your thoughts are on this whole AlphaDream situation. Are you going to miss them, or do you think they could have survived in this HD era, even for handheld games? Do you think Nintendo should save them, for example, and make them a first-party studio? What do you think should be done with AlphaDream and potentially the Mario and Luigi series? Because I guess that is the other major thought here, is what happens to Mario and Luigi? Is that owned by Nintendo, or is it just gone now because of AlphaDream going? Presumably Nintendo has the license because, well, it's Mario and Luigi, but we don't know about Fawful and all that. But again, we have Fawful as a not a sticker, but in Smash Ultimate as a forget the name off the top of my head, but you know what I'm talking about. Either way, I don't know if this will be the end of the Mario and Luigi series. We don't even know what's going on with the Paper Mario series, so the state of Mario RPGs is kind of in flux, and we have no idea what we're in for next time, or in the future, or anything like that. It is just, we'll see what happens, and I'd like to see another Mario and Luigi. I'd like to see them attempt it, but unfortunately they can't go the remake route. They have to make something new. They've done 2 remakes now, and I think they need to come up with a new idea and some way to make it interesting. And hopefully that happens. Hopefully something gets figured out, or the like. It's hard to say, but I think it's too good of a concept to let die, and I feel like they could find some way to make this happen. I mean, for the longest time, we joked about a Wario and Waluigi game. Wouldn't that be cool? And I think that's the potential here, is they could take this concept and go so far with it and have some interesting ideas. Maybe Peach and Daisy, or just a princess RPG where you swap between Peach, Daisy, and Rosalina. So we got Peach for the healer, Daisy for the physical, and Rosalina for magical attacks. Throw in Pauline, why not? I don't know. There's so much potential with Mario RPGs that it feels like they haven't tapped into yet because they're so rigid. So let's get away from that rigidity and introduce something new and fun and exciting for the Switch, or just RPGs in general. And I think it can totally be done. Whether or not it actually happens, that's the hard part. But either way, it sucks that AlphaDream is in this state, and hopefully they can bounce back. Hopefully Nintendo can save them, or if at the very least, hopefully these talented developers can find a way to go into other projects, maybe with Nintendo or other companies, and learn the skill set that they didn't have as far as HD games. Because AlphaDream was maybe a studio of 50 people. It's not a huge studio. So again, Transition HD is even tougher. But again, I'm curious what you guys think of this whole state of affairs with AlphaDream, what you think might happen with the future of the Mario and Luigi series, what you think might happen with the future of the employees at AlphaDream and all the wonderful developers. Let us know in the comments, and of course be sure to subscribe to Game Explain for more on Mario, Luigi, RPGs, everything Nintendo, you know the drill, and other things gaming as well. Until next time, bye.